Ord function returns an integer representing the Unicode character. So Ord function, we give it a string, more like a character, and it will give us an integer representation of that character. We also have character char, CHR, method or function that returns a character from an integer. Character function char is the reverse of function ord. It means we can change from character to integer and from integer to character. How to use ord and char? In the obfuscation and deobfuscation process, so obfuscation is the tricks and the methods to make the code harder to understand, and deobfuscation is the method that we use to convert the obfuscated string back to a understandable string. You can use ord to change character as an integer and use char function to change integer as a character. It is limited to this number. So let's continue. Ord and char example. We have here in the left a code that obfuscates a string. We have the result, and on the right we have code that deobfuscates a string. Let's try to understand this code better. First thing first, this code is the code that we use to make our code not understandable. This is what we use to generate the string. And this code that deobfuscates is the code that we can give to our client. This code returns the result from the first code to the original string. It means that this code is it does what we want. So this is what we give to our client. Let's first try to understand the first code. So we have a string called message and has hello world as a value. We created a function, we called it obfuscation, and it takes a string. We have a local variable that will store our obfuscated string. We created a loop that will go through every character in a string, and we're gonna convert it back to an integer. We're gonna add 20. Then we're gonna convert it back to a character. Finally, we're gonna add this character that we have to the obfuscated string. Finally, we print the result. This is the result. Now, I hope you understand how we used this ord and char functions to obfuscate a string. Now let's try to understand the obfuscation code. So our client will only have the message that is not understandable, and he will have the obfuscation function. And it's pretty the same. Here we created a deobfuscation string that take a string, and we have a local variable that is obstring, and for every character in this string that we have, we're gonna convert the character to a number, integer, and we're gonna subtract 20 from it. Then we're gonna turn it back to a character. Lastly, we add the character to the obfuscated string, and we print the results. Let's try this. Here we have the code, and we try to run it. So this is the result of our code. So our client will not understand this string because he needs this function to work, so to give him the result. We try to run this program and we get hello world.